fact, I actually used to be part of a religion. It's true. And I can confirm that this game is Bible canon. Faith. These games are awesome. I remember finding out about this series way back in 2017 thanks to the Scary Game Squad, and I immediately fell in love with the aesthetic and style of the game. And now it's 2023 and the whole trilogy has dropped. Thanks to that, we get to look at the franchise in its entirety thanks to the New Blood release. So let's dive into Faith, the Unholy Trinity. I'm going to play these games in order, so let's start with the very first, Faith. Faith Chapter 1 immediately sets the stage for what to expect in this package. What you're about to do has not been approved by the Vatican. You play as John Ward, a priest who's returning to the Martin residence after an incident, which we learn involved their daughter, Amy. Right away, you see what Faith is like as a game. It's a retro-inspired top-down RPG? I think it's an RPG. John only has two mechanics, walk and hold up your cross. And that's it. Faith is an incredibly simple game to play at the start. You walk to the edge of the screen, weird shit happens, and you move on. Rinse and repeat. It's kind of eerie in a way, you know? The haunting 8-bit music, the not quite right graphics, and the lack of any real danger. Oh yeah, that. So it turns out you're not alone in these woods. This weird, anemic-looking thing skitters out of the edge of the screen, making awful noises. When he runs at you, you need to quickly hold up your cross to scare him off. If he touches you, John immediately dies. No checkpoint, no saves. Okay, that's not quite true. So I'm quickly interjecting in the middle here because I discovered something in the middle of the review. In the original script, I mentioned that if you die, you actually keep your collectibles between runs. But then I realized I didn't have footage of Michael killing me, so I had to run back and grab that real quick. Turns out, no, you don't keep your stuff when you die. The only way to keep your collectibles is to make it to the mansion and get the save point. That is all. Oh yeah, collectibles. There's a bunch of these random pieces of set dressing like dead trees, anime carcasses. I wrote anime carcasses in my script. Oh yeah, collectibles. There's a bunch of these random pieces of set dressing like dead trees, animal carcasses, and the squirrel. What? If you hold up your cross to these objects, they start flashing yellow, then they drop notes on the ground. These collectible notes offer some esoteric storytelling beats, adding to the lore of the game. Gee, an indie horror game with secret lore hidden from view for theorists. I've never heard that one before. Once you've had your fill of exploration, you make your way to the house. You grab a key from the shed, unlock the front door, and you start the second phase of the game. Here, John looks around the Martin family home, making his way through the house until he passes out. Then this happens.
He is here.
Shit just got real fucking quick. John now needs to fight off this purple demon girl who randomly attacks him. You can see the little blood spots on the ground telling you where she is. After some time, John says that he
The door opened upstairs.
You go to the attic and meet Amy herself.
My God, what happened to you? Do you think my face is pretty? I have to finish what I started. She's my priest.
So this is the final boss. No, seriously, we're already here. John needs to hold up the cross to Amy for a while before she fights back. All the while, these gray-looking demons start trying to get ya. After some time, though, Amy starts the second phase. Amy now attacks you directly, splitting into 4 duplicates. You just need to use the cross on the right one, but not before she flies at you from off the screen. I can't move any faster than this.
MORTIS.
After finishing that, Amy starts the last phase. And then you fight, and she absolutely murders me. Amy now flies around the room in a pentagram pattern, but the way she moves is kinda random, so you need to pay attention. This might be one of my biggest complaints with Faith. the whole series even, this game is not designed to be a bullet hell. John moves way too fucking slow, making the game even more difficult. Unfortunately, Faith likes to throw John into situations where precise movement is essential, meaning death is very common. And of course, if you die, you have to start the phase over. At least it remembers which phase I'm on. Sometimes. After multiple reattempts, I finally do it. Amy falls out of the window and you head downstairs to victory. In the living room, you see
a gun with one bullet.
And bloody text saying, kill her. This is where you decide on your ending. There are 5 to choose from, and they all need the gun to access them, so let me rapid fire the endings. Walk to the left and find Amy, shoot her, then return to the car. This has John getting pulled over and being labeled a murderer. The text at the end also implies John isn't even a priest and simply uses that as a cover for killing people. You walk to the shed and kill this rando gray dude. Going to the car, you get killed by the lanky monster thing. The text here says something about this kid named Michael and another priest named Father Garcia, with a missing picture. Walk to the pentagram with the squirrel and use more gun to make it more dead. This has John being stopped by red hooded guys in the road, with the text mentioning this guy named Gary. This might be considered the funny one depending on your sense of humor. You can find a deer and shoot that instead. Doing this has John hitting another deer on the road and this. I have no words. Oh, and the text is about what happens to John. He died. This is considered the good ending. You simply don't shoot anybody and walk back to your car. The creepy alien-looking thing tries to get you, but you have time to shoot it. Doing so has it stumble into the road and get hit by a truck. The text crawl talks about the remains being found and saying it's somewhat human, only with a bad case of the rickets. And that concludes Faith. This game is super fun, even if a little frustrating at times. The game had a great idea that it saw through to the end, and it was a blast. It makes for perfect YouTube Let's Play fodder. In fact, I did just that. You can find on my gameplay channel all 3 Faith games played in their entirety, so go check it out if you want a more live reaction to the game. All in all though, Faith is fun, and I can easily recommend it. And then they made more! Faith Chapter 2 is the bigger, badder, and, in my opinion, better sequel to the original. I think just about everything was done infinitely better in Faith Chapter 2. Better bosses, better level design, and even more story. Speaking of which, let's jump in with... Who the hell is this guy? Oh, this is Father Garcia. Remember the text crawl from Chapter 1? This is the guy who sent out that note. We control Garcia through his house, seeing distressing letters about a boy named Michael. After heading to the basement, you...
How are we doing today, Michael? I like the cotton. You can't go home until you get better, Michael. Can I see Mommy and Daddy? I need to make you better first. When she let you get on me, she'll kill you. If you find them to be people, you'll laughing forever.
Oh, good. Great. Love that. So apparently the spindly demon that hunted John in the first game was actually Michael. Well, it's a good thing nothing happened to him. I should probably also point out that there was a demo for Faith Chapter 2. That demo was included in the Unholy Trinity as an... Unfortunately, mine seems busted. I don't know, man. I got to the last secret and the game was having none of it. I tried everything and the last few achievements weren't unlocking. And the game wasn't playing the secret ending, so... I'm just gonna move on. Just know it's there, I guess. Anyway, we can start the game proper as John. He's back, baby. John is now exploring a graveyard, seeing a bunch of weird shit, like a pentagram he makes with his own eye blood, a fetus, 3 red dudes chilling, you know, his usual Tuesday. I'm not gonna go in depth with this section, mostly because it's the same Faith gameplay you're used to. If you've played Faith Chapter 1, you've played Chapter 2 by proxy. There are some legitimately creepy sections though. My favorite is probably the confessional booth.
Pray for me, Father, for I have sinned. What sins have you done to confess? I tried to save a girl from evil, but my fears overcame me. I turned my back on the ministry, and broke my vows to God. A year later, the girl reached out to me again, but in the end, I couldn't save her. I left her to die. I am sorry for me and my past sins. Thou hast said will. Here is my penance. Bring the child to me. Perform the act of contrition. And thou shalt have the peace thou seekest. Give thanks to the Lord for his good. For his mercy endures forever.
Such a creepy atmosphere set by this game, man. It really cranks Faith horror levels to maximum without getting frustrating. Yet. John leaves the spooky graveyard, enters an old daycare, kills a ghost, sees this shit, and eventually makes his way outside, finding a note. John, I don't know how to tell you this, but you might have melted. So yeah, he just kind of wandered this hellscape until you find a highway. By the way, in this playthrough, I got the secret ending. In order to do so, I had to go on my way to do some esoteric things, like kill these lovely people. So yeah, once you enter the sewers, you see some more freaky shit, like this thing. And hey, a Illuminati reference. Cool. So John wanders through the dark, making his way to a purple temple place. What the hell is even happening? John finds some keys, politely asks these 3 ladies not to touch him, and heads to the ending. Once you enter this hall, a nun demon tries to get you. But surprise, it's Father Garcia.
Don't be afraid, John. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in God's name, there will he be also. We can banish this demon together. You must protect me while I recite the 91st Psalm. Let us go.
So now we've got Father Garcia on our side, we can fuck up this nun. This boss fight is very similar to Amy from Chapter 1. You hold up the cross, scare away these red dudes, avoiding random slide attacks, the usual fare. Oh, except for the fact that Father Garcia, get out of my way! So yeah, Father Garcia is doing his best, but can't move fast enough. If he dies and you're not going for the secret ending, you get the bad ending. Meaning, to get all 3 endings, Father Garcia must live through at least 1 round of this hell. And, spoiler alert, he doesn't. He is so dumb and he just stands around, practically letting them hit him. But, finally, we beat him. The night explodes into a red demon and... Wait, what? It was a dream? I don't care, honestly. I never understood why the dream fake-outs upset people so much. The game's still good, right? So who cares? Regardless, John grabs the mail, gets divorced, sees the unspeakable in the secret ending, and thus bringing Faith Chapter 2 to a close. This was awesome. Like I said, Faith Chapter 2 is my personal favorite. It's really creepy, super engaging, and despite the ending battle still falling into the realm of 2 bullet hell for its own good, it was a satisfying game to beat. And then, silence. A demo for Faith Chapter 3 was released, but no news after that. It was seemingly a dead game. That is, until New Blood, publishers of Dusk, announced that they would be publishing the game as Faith, the Unholy Trinity. And so here we are, Faith Chapter 3, the final game in the series so far. And let me be clear, this is the worst one. No, I'm not kidding. So, gameplay. You've played the other two games to get here. You know the rules, and so do I. I'll mention any additional gameplay notes as they come about, but the game is still pretty simple. As far as the story is concerned, well, so you start with an interactive flashback to the events of Amy Martin's exorcism. All the trappings of Faith up until now are still here, so you get the drill. Wander around, do the thing, only this time, wake up from more dreams. John and Father Garcia are, apparently, exchanging notes in order to stop an event called the Profane Sabbath. John has 3 days to visit 3 locations, hoping to stop anything and everything trying to perform the Sabbath. In particular, John and Garcia are looking for Amy's brothers. Wait, who? So I kind of glossed over this, but apparently according to the notes in Faith Chapter 1, Amy has 2 younger twin brothers, and Garcia thinks Gary, the guy from the other notes and endings with the red text, is going to use them to perform the Profane Sabbath. So we head to the clinic where Amy used to work. The clinic is definitely the most Faith-like level in my opinion. It's small, intimate, and filled with really unsettling imagery. You find more notes from Gary talking about his cult shenanigans to his followers. After exploring the clinic, John gets fucking abducted by this outlast looking motherfucker. So now we're all tied up. Was trying to hide from this creepy bitch. You hide behind this curtain, then with these bodies. After that, a cop saves you, and you try to leave. You do get stopped by this fuck, and this fight is awful. John apparently can't hurt this demon. Instead, we need the cop to shoot it. But the cop will only shoot if this bastard is on the same horizontal plane as him. And even then, he's gonna miss. This fight isn't hard, but all the deaths came from this shitty cop. Once you kill it, you can leave. But don't. Instead, go back the way you came, get on the gurney, and hang out with the bodies again. Then you can fight the secret boss.
I'm looking for twin boys, Ned, Jess, and Martin. Have you seen them? Who's Gary? I'm leaving now.
John has the appropriate response. Anyway, this fight seems bullshit, but it's actually the easiest in the game. These babies will crawl around and making you think you die if you touch them. But no, they just slow you down. So just stand there and tank it while
MORTIS
beating the shit out of this lady. She'll try and spawn some super babies, but as long as you get them before they transform, they don't do anything. Seriously, after learning they can't hurt you, it only took 1 try. Super easy. After this, you get the best note in the game. Smooth moves, priest. But the twins are not here. Carry out the works of your God while it is yet day, for the night cometh. Remember, Gary loves you. Smooth moves, priest. Anyway, you may leave now and get more Amy exorcism dreams. Honestly, these are just kind of lame. I don't feel any danger, and I felt like I had a good grasp on the story already. I'm sure it's nice if you haven't played the other 2, but I did, right before I started Faith Chapter 3. It's kind of repetitive. After that, Garcia, again, tells you to go somewhere. This time, you head to an apartment building to see your ex, Lisa. Apparently, Gary owns the place. How the fuck that happen? The apartments are the most familiar to people who played the demo. It's not that difficult, but damn does it take a while. There is so much to do compared to the clinic. John has to deal with not only a labyrinth of apartment floors and rooms, he has to find the links to break the seals on Lisa's room, and you're up to your neck in secrets. There are so many things you can miss here, and you usually only get 1 chance at each before you lose it forever. The rest of this video could just be this section, but we'd be here forever. It's still day 2, so forgive me. But here are the spark notes. Find Tiffany's room, find Lisa's room, deal with the elevator friend, we'll get to him, go to the second floor, lose the cross, get a camera, wander through the dark, get chased by the don't move demon, get the cross back, break the next part of the seal, find a demon in a candle room. Wait, isn't this just the mini boss from chapter 2? Get possessed, find the altar, fuck up this pumpkin, go to Lisa's room, surprise, she's possessed, fight Alu, don't kill Lisa, save Elisa, enter the stupid bullshit secret area by entering a secret code into the elevator that apparently can just insta-kill you if you're not careful. And then, finally, fight the secret boss. Jesus Christ. This boss is tougher than the baby lady, I'll give her that. It's Tiffany, the other lady that Gary converted to his cult. This fight is probably my second favorite in the game, honestly. It's also got a bitchin' song to go with it. And then you get the last note and can leave. Oh, right. The elevator friend. Nothing special. Just wanted to haunt your dreams with the worst sound ever. All in all, I actually really didn't care for the apartment. For some reason, the game seems to be wandering into this bizarre, esoteric design philosophy. Information is obscured and you have to work for everything. Final day. Have another Amy dream. Wake up. Knock, knock. Who is it? Father Garcia. Now I need to go to the daycare. Head over there. What? What's with the cops? Where'd they come from? Why? The daycare is pretty forgettable, mostly because it immediately transitions to hell itself. But before that, you can get some Ultra Kill and Earl's fishing references. Cool. Oh, and this. Like I said, the daycare is quickly forgotten and replaced with a full underground temple. Where did this come from? I'm not still dreaming, am I? There's so much to this temple. It's only the first half of the place. John goes to a chessboard looking thing, takes some drugs and... So now we're here. This is the temple proper, and there's a lot. Red light, green light, a stupid mirror boss, these cultists who can one-shot you, Malok, a place literally called nowhere, and oh fuck this place. This dark forest is the worst. You have to find these 3 dudes chained up, all the while purple demons chase you, and you can get stuck in the level geometry. This is just the worst. Eventually, I made it though, and we get to see Gary himself. He lets you ask 3 questions, and then you fight. And let me be clear, with only one exception, this is the best boss in the game, but also kind of the worst. Gary has a very fun boss fight in the traditional sense. He does the mirror match gimmick really well, copying your cross while adding a ton of new attacks, including what might just be the best move in gaming. Regardless of my godlike reflexes to dodge that almighty attack, Gary is pretty simple. Except... notice that. So if Gary touches you, you don't instantly die. Instead, you drop the cross. This does mean that if you can grab it, the fight is surprisingly forgiving. Although the game did tend to drop the cross on goddamn Jupiter, so it's still somewhat luck-based. And again, this is another bullet hell stage. Faith, Booby, listen. You are not a bullet hell game. You don't have fast enough movement. And usually you die in one hit. This is starting to become a very serious condition. And I mentioned this fight is kind of bad too. That's because, I don't know, it's just me, or does this barely feel like Faith anymore? You're dodging spiders, parrying tridents, and having a traditional battle of good versus evil. But think back to how this game all started. Wandering through the woods, being chased by one dude, getting caught off guard. Now this. It's seriously overkill on the theme set before. Once you do enough damage, Gary waddles towards you and Jesus Christ, Garcia's packing hate! Garcia chases Gary off and he bails in this hole in the ground. This is actually an ending to the game. If you didn't fight all the secret bosses, you don't follow Gary down. Garcia threatens John to help him stop the profane Sabbath, and the game ends with a bad ending. Thankfully, I did beat all the secret bosses, so we can get the last notes and fight Gary one last time without Garcia's help. Bro, at least give me your gun. And this boss is the worst. Gary, after rejecting my advancements, starts chasing you around in this gross amoeba body. He follows you, charges both at you and all around the room, and drops these stupid pentagrams on the floor that stop your movement. I swear he deliberately puts these in your way, and if you touch them, you stop. If he touches them, they disappear. And don't slow him down. If, and I truly mean if, you can survive long enough, deal just enough damage, and not die, you gain the privilege of starting phase 2. Now, there's 2 of them. Not only does Gary still chase you, but now you got Malfast running amok. Whenever he feels like, he'll fly in the air and land on top of you, probably killing you. And if you die, guess what? You're starting from square one. This is so much bullshit. But I did it. And if you do it, you start phase fucking 3. And it's an actual bullet hell game now. No pretending, no gimmicks. It's pure bullet hell. And shockingly, the game is somewhat generous here. If you get hit, you don't immediately die. The game gives you a non-determined number of attempts here, but if you suck and die, you start all over. Like I did. So here's the thing. In order to beat the final boss, you have to go against your natural instincts the game has set for you up until now. You must cause the boss to separate. Light John on fire, then run into the boss. Then, and only then, are you done? And because this game doesn't register inputs when you're tapped out, I thought it was broken, so I mashed my spacebar and stopped the recording. Needless to say, I do not find Faith Chapter 3 to be particularly good. It's super confusing, obscenely long, and downright impossible. At least it used to be. So right after I beat the game for the Let's Play, the game had a patch, making both Gary boss fights, in theory, easier. I haven't tried them. I beat the game once, and once was enough for me. But if you desire, it might be doable now. And there you have it, the Unholy Trinity. So, to recap, Faith Chapter 1, solid game. It's creepy, unique, and genuinely fun to experience. It's a great throwback to old school gaming, and I love what it did here. Faith Chapter 2, amazing, absolutely worth playing. This game is just long enough to be gripping without dragging its heels too much. Play this one if no others. Then, Faith Chapter 3. Look, I recognize that this is a great game. If you loved the more hectic and complicated aspects of Chapter 2, then this is more of that. But to me, it's way too much, especially those bosses. Slowly, as the game goes on, they start to drift away from the ideas Faith had set in place from the start. And I hate the bullet hell aspect. John simply moves too damn slow for precise bullet hell gameplay. And that's it. I'm free. I'm gonna go make a Gundam. More rewarding than this.